Okay, this is session 2 of World of Dungeons, Ravenloft. We have two brand new characters joining us, played by Derek and Richard. Let's just introduce them. I'm going to go in the order of the sheet. Derek, tell us about Follower, please.
So, Follower is a ranger who, not too long ago, decided to move out into the woods permanently, mainly because, well, I'm very convinced that there is an evil necromancer cult or something that is taking over the mercantile business in Barovia and is I'm convinced that their entire purpose is to create a civil war between all the neighboring countries in Barovia. I have no reason to believe this. It's just what I've come to believe.
Okay, awesome. So a bit of a conspiracy theorist, it sounds like.
Right.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your special moves and stuff like that. What do we have? Oh, we can't hear you. You're
Can you hear me?
yeah.
All right, sorry. Volley. I took volley and wild. Volley is used just it increases my damage with ranged weapons. I have very little hit points, so I'm going to stay at a distance. And then wild lets me attempt. Well, I can commune with wild animals, and I can attempt to command them.
Okay, nice. Are you the kind of ranger who has an animal companion?
I am not.
Okay, all right. Awesome. And what are your flags?
So I took. Let's see here. Ask me about the history of a place. Whether I tell you the truth or just what I happen to believe about that place, we'll find out.
I like that.
And
That's
then,
good. Yeah.
and then tell me a lie I believe.
That sounds like a really easy thing to do with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I love it. That's good. We're gonna learn. We're gonna see a lot more of you here in a minute once we do the scene. But we'll do a little in medias res. But I feel good about that for now. If anybody has any questions, just jump in there. Let's talk about Ivor. Richard, tell us about Ivor.
So Ivor is a wizard, which means that largely he just started as a student and eventually just started reading the interesting books, and then making strange new friends who weren't necessarily really human. So he eventually developed relationships with two spirits. One is a weird snake-like raven creature named Skara, and the other is a kind of a flying, shadowy child named Hinty. And he's picked up a few other occult skills, but he's not someone who walks around throwing around spells left and right. He really relies on his spirits for information and a few rituals he knows. He's otherwise a fairly, lean but very athletic person, but has started to see too much, and his spirits are leading him into troubling and strange travels and journeys where he continues to see way too much. So he started taking a haunted, suspicious look.
Nice. And what are your flags?
So my flags are ask me to examine an important object and offer me a high risk, high reward plan that I can't resist.
Good. Awesome. So just so everyone knows, as a reminder, the best way to hit a flag is to call for a scene. If we're in the middle of the action or if there's a bit of downtime or wherever we're at, if you want to try to hit a flag, just say you want that scene and just frame it up and then do it. The reason why you want to hit a flag is because you get at the end of the session, so long as you hit one flag, someone else's flag, you get a 10%. You get 10% of whatever you need for the next level of your XP. So for the brand new characters, from level 1 to level 2, you'll get 100 XP for hitting a flag at the end of the session. Okay. And then the next, from level 2 to level 3, it's a different amount. You get a different amount of XP. Okay. So awesome. That's great to hear. I feel pretty good about that. The returning characters, as we see them on screen, I'll have you guys do like a really brief, tiny introduction for the benefit of the new players once we do that. But for now, I want to get going. So we're going to talk about why you're in the village of Barovia later. But for now, Ivor and Follower, you are both together. Well, we'll say you know each other. You're together in the village of Barovia. Follower, you are down a little side street. If you guys want to open up the image board that's in the folder, I don't know if I can point directly to the street that you're on right now, but it might be nice just to see a map of the village, map of the village if you want. But you're on a little side street, not too far from the burgomaster's mansion. This is important for the other characters. The Follower, you know this well. Most of the houses that are occupied, the doors are shut, and people just they either don't answer if you knock on the doors, or they just whisper strange things, right? If you've ever played the video game Bloodborne, it's just like that. Like when you go up to the door, you knock on the door and people say a random weird shit, but they never open the door, right? It's that kind of situation. That's because like at nighttime especially, there are these attacks, right? Right now it's about 5 p.m. Always in the land of Barovia, the sun never shines brightly. It's always just a heavy, overcast gray, even in the middle of the day. Okay, and that's the way it is right now. But you are walking down a side street. Follower, it's a very familiar side street to you because I think you used to have a home on this side street, a little hovel that you kind of managed to save up enough money for, and you managed to eventually buy, and you eventually abandoned. Okay, but right now, the two of you are together, having just arrived back in town, and you hear crying. Not Mad Mary's crying. It's a different crying. The crying of a child, a little boy, about 10 paces up and to the right, inside a little darkened doorway. Follower, what do you do?
Well, I mean, I'm naturally curious about everything. So I look to Ivor and kind of look around, and you hear that too, right?
It's a child crying.
Okay, yeah. I hear the child crying and the birds chirping and the squirrels. But yeah, definitely the child crying. It's weird,
There
right?
are no squirrels or birds. I love that you can still say that, but there are no birds.
Right.
No squirrels or birds.
I do hear children crying. But what I don't hear is anyone going to attend to them while they're crying.
Maybe we should. Maybe I mean, you've just learned some handy new spells. Don't you have like a fireball or something to bring light to this area?
Summon maternal figure?
Yeah.
No, we should actually go look in on the child. It also sounds, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds a good bit older than a really small child.
You hear a is someone there? Is someone there?
This is not a frightened, hungry baby. This is a child.
Well,
Old enough to talk.
I'll follow you in. I got you covered, and I'm pulling out. I have my short bow, but not knocked or anything. It's just, I'm standing behind him, making a show of I have your back.
Polly, as you guys are creeping around the courtyard, you can see out of your peripheral vision this transaction taking place down the lane. You see these two guys. You may not know what they're talking about, and you may not know that there's a child over there crying, but you see them over there talking. They're the first people you've seen who aren't like freaked out Barovians. We haven't really seen anybody, hardly, just the people who work in the establishments, the few people there are. So that will catch your eye if nothing else, right? Just the fact that there are people who are here of their own volition, right? So
people on the street. There's life in this town after all.
Indeed. So just keep that. That's your entree to join up if you wish. Okay.
All right. Am I with the other two on the way to the burgomaster's house?
You're all like in the burgomaster's courtyard. You can see this like across the way out the fence.
All right.
So, but anyway, let's go back to the other two. So yeah, this little boy, he's in this like darkened. It's just like a little, like a little alcove porch thing, right? And it's dark, and if you just peek your head around, you'll see him. He's He's hunkered down. He's kind of like sitting on the step, and his hands are covering his face, and he's weeping. Ivor, what do you do?
So he's outside the home, just kind of on the step.
Yep.
Just how old does he appear to be?
10, 11.
10, 11. Okay. So I say, young man, is there something wrong?
He says, my mother's fallen very, very ill, sir, and I think she's going to die. I just want. Could you help her? Can you help her? Do you know? Can you help her? Can you stop her from dying?
Is he like kind of up on the stairs and we're sort of down?
You're both. It's like a, it's like maybe 5 steps, right? Like up to a little door. Like imagine like a sort of brownstone kind of building, right?
Yeah. There's a I look at Fowler and say, what sickness has been cursing this place?
I haven't heard anything in quite a while, but potentially it could be. And then I get this kind of like connecting things together in my mind look, and then grab the kid and pull him close to my face and starting but very intensely whispering, "Who sent you here? How did you get here? What's your purpose here?"
Fowler, you're going to frighten the child who is already frightened. You've already succeeded in frightening the child.
Fowler, give me a. I was going to make it a charisma roll, like you're threatening him, but I'm actually going to make it a wisdom roll to see if you observe anything here of interest. Presumably, you would be paying close attention to the boy and like what he's doing, right? Otherwise, you just frighten him. He's not like saying anything important. So.
Right. No, I'm trying to get something out of him. Are we using roll for your party or anything?
I will get. I'll get you guys one. Hold on. Oh, good to do that. All right, we are in largely picked tarpon. I don't know what that means. But here it is. All right, go for it. You don't have to use it in everybody, just if you want to use it. So if you have regular dice, you can roll that too.
Polly would be tapping his companions on the backs and whispering, "Hey, there's something going on back there."
I see several sets of dice on the board here. Which ones did you?
Sorry, I accidentally hit 2.
Okay.
To pull out 2. Those were the blue ones.
Okay.
The green ones are mine. I got an 11.
Sorry about that.
An 11, nice. That's with your wisdom total.
Yeah, I have a 0 wisdom.
Okay, I'll let you ask. You get to ask any 2 questions you wish about this situation. I'll answer it truthfully, not necessarily completely.
Okay. Is this child telling the truth?
No.
Is this child a danger to me?
Yes. And you know this because as you like pull him up close to you, you actually smell like rancid meat off his off his breath, like he's been eating raw rancid meat, just like hit you. It's just revolting.
And I'm going to
be a kid just eating rancid meat, but it's kind of a bad sign. Well, you believe in omens in this land, right? So.
Right. We're a superstitious lot. I'm gonna throw him back into the stoop, and now I'm knocking my arrow and pointing it at him and saying and yelling, "He's an agent of the necromancer."
Polly, you will hear that bit. He's an agent of the necromancer. What do you do?
So I've alerted my companions, and now I'm creeping down there to see what's going on, because I don't know who's saying what. So I'm going to try to blend into the stoops and awnings of the street.
Yeah. You can be undercover. That's fine. I'm not going to make you roll for that. What are you going to try to find out, or what are you going to try to do?
I want to see this agent of a necromancer. Who's it? What's a necromancer?
As you get closer, you'll see the little boy. He's been like clearly like tossed on the on the stoop of this ramshackle house. You see follower, this character, this mangy ranger with a bow and arrow pointed at him, right? And you see Ivor, and the little boy looks really frightened, and he's like crying, just like tears streaming down his eyes. He looks terrified. You know what it's like to be a terrified child, right?
Yes, with big adults looming over you. This doesn't look like it's a fair fight. What are they doing to this child? I'm getting in closer. Maybe I'll get out my slingshot.
What are you doing to this child, follower?
I mean, I'm keeping him at bow point, for lack of a better term, and slowly trying to back away so I'm not within lunging distance or anything like that. And then, I'm going to keep interrogating him. Why are you here? Why are you trying to get us to go to your foul master?
And I think I've not sensed what Fowler has
You
sensed.
have not, no.
No, at all. So I'm trying to position myself between the child and Fowler, but also, slightly nervously, but I'm not going to just let him shoot a kid.
You hear a voice. You hear a woman's voice come from the inside. A woman's voice calls out from the inside. Ivan, where are you? What's going on out there? And this little boy, Ivan, apparently, he just looks really terrified, and he's like, I'm coming, mother, I'm coming. And he kind of backs up further against the door.
I'm gonna look at Ivor and say, "Smell him. He's a fresh zombie or something. He's a fresh undead. You can smell it on him, and he's rotting from the inside. And in a couple days, he will be a full ripe zombie. It's a zombie baby. That's what it is."
Meanwhile, Stosh and Goro, Polly has just left the courtyard and snuck off to go investigate the situation. What do the two of you do? Goro, what do you do? Oh, you're chipmunking. Yeah, you're chipmunking. The first time Aniket logs on, it always happens. He always has to log off and go back on. So we'll give him a minute. Stosh, what are you doing in the meantime?
I guess seeing Polly kind of creep away, I would cautiously follow.
Okay.
Probably not right behind, but I'm getting close.
Awesome. Goro, I assume you're not chipmunking now.
I also assume that.
You are not, yeah. What do you do?
I think I don't trust Polly to not get into trouble in a town like this, because he's not used to civilization, and I trust him on the road, perhaps, because he's proven himself, but I'm definitely following to see what trouble he gets into.
Indeed. So you guys are coming up on the scene too. Awesome. All right. So the little boy is carefully standing up and reaching behind him to make for the door, right? He wants to go inside the house and get away from the two of you, three of you now, or soon to be three of you, soon to be five of you. Follower, he's just gonna slip in if you let him. What do you do?
As soon as I see him starting to make a move, don't even think about it.
Ivor.
I am pretty much concerned that if I don't play along long enough to get Falar to think that I have taken a whiff of the child and said no, you're thinking the wrong thing. Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of sniff at the child, not expecting to really find anything. and just go like, Ivor, I mean, sorry, follower, there's nothing wrong with this child. I mean, he's living in a poor village. He doesn't smell like fresh and clean because his mother's sick and has not been taking care of him, type thing. And just sort of holding up a hand, so that my hand is between Fowler's arrow and the child. Just like, but I'm just also like, maybe you shouldn't make any sudden moves, kid, because he's a little on edge. I've not seen him like this before, but maybe if you just stay calm, and everyone will stay calm, and we'll just help Fowler readjust to living in a town.
I think at this point, Stosh and Goro, since you guys were not sneaking up, you guys can just be on scene if you wish. The other two of you, you'll see these two characters, walking up. Goro, what do you look like? Just give us a quick description of what your appearance is.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a stout, red-faced, bearded man. Got a bit of the redness in the nose that you get from drinking a little too much. And I project an air of sort of forced optimism.
Mm-hmm. Goro, what do? You see the scene?
What seems to be the problem here? Are you assaulting this child?
My traveling companion and friend seems convinced that the child is cursed, or in some way. It just we just need to help him calm down by acting calm, by everyone just acting calm.
It's a zombie baby. Just smell it. You can smell it.
The little boy says, I'm no zombie, I'm no danger. Please, my mother is dying. I just need someone to help my mother. It just begins crying. You know what it's like to miss your mother, Goro?
I certainly do. I think I'll walk closer to the child and I'll be like, where is your mother? The church has invested me with great power to break curses and diseases. Perhaps we can help her.
She's inside. We this is where we live.
Don't fall for it. It's another it's a necromancer controlling the zombie baby, and he'll put you under its spell.
I'm just motioning to Fowler to lower the bow. We're all friends. No one's gonna hurt you. You've known me for a while.
I listen to Ivor a bit, but I'm not fully taking the tension off the bow.
I've got my slingshot out, aimed at the bow hand. If I see him getting ready to loose the arrow, I'm going to try to knock his aim off.
What about you? What's your disposition here, Stosh?
I think I'm sticking close to Goro. I kind of want to back him up here, but I don't want to escalate things. This is not the kind of clear-cut situation that Stosh deals well with. So, yeah, maybe hand on the hilt of my sword, but and just sticking close to Goro, just kind of eyeing the situation.
Indeed. Stosh, you can give me a wisdom roll, since you're a little bit on the outside of the interaction here, kind of checking things out.
Okay. All right, so that's a 11 plus whatever. It's a 12. Yeah.
Oh, nice. You get a bonus for a 12 plus. I'll let you ask any two questions you want. Same terms. I'll answer truthfully, but not necessarily completely. And then, well, I'll just ask 3 for a 12 plus. So.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the question that's really on the top of Stosh's mind is, what is the deal with the boy? Is he what he appears to be, or is he something more sinister?
He's definitely something more sinister. You will notice he has, in certain light, a little red glint in his eyes, kind of like that vampiress that you met on the road earlier today.
Okay. So, and let's say, what do I notice about the house? What's jumping out at me as I kind of take the situation in?
You heard the mother calling from the inside. You also hear an occasional muffled stomping or rattling around, like there are multiple things inside the house.
All right, and then I guess the last thing I'm interested in is who's watching us, who's observing this.
Oh, what an interesting question. If you turn back, you're going to see a woman looking out of the front door of the burgomaster's mansion, staring directly across the square at you all, watching how this plays out. Almost certainly Arita. So.
Okay.
So Stosh, what do you do?
Yeah, I think armed with this information, I'm not going to hesitate this time. I kind of learned a lesson on the road. So I'm just reaching for the hand axe, and I'm going to fling it at this child. And boy, this is gruesome. Yeah, and I'm just going to alert everyone. Be like, I'm just going to say just vampire, and just fling the hatchet.
Roll dexterity.
Wow. All right, that's an 11.
Nice. Roll your damage.
And 6 points of damage.
Nice. This will incapacitate him enough to eventually do the necessary killing blows that you'll need to do to a vampire. But just describe it. What does it look like?
Yeah, it's just it's almost like just a spastic motion. Like Stosh is a little bit panicked as he just scrabbles for this hand axe and just flings it as hard as he can. Just sinks just dead center deep into this small child's chest, kind of thrusting him back against the door.
Good. Terrific. Establishing questions for follower and Ivor. Follower, you did not want to come back to Barovia, right?
No.
Indeed, you did not. You left something in your home that is important enough to return for, despite the dangers. Not only that, but it's so important that if you found out it was in Castle Ravenloft, you would enter that accursed place to get it. I want to know what it is. So think about that. Come back on the break. Tell us.
Okay.
Ivor, yours is really simple. Why do you seek an audience with Count Strahd von Zarovich?
Oh, nice.
I'll give you guys the same break I gave them on establishing questions. So we'll take 10 minutes and we'll come back and we'll continue playing.
Anakin, are you there by any chance?
Yes.
Oh, just a quick thing. I was wondering, back in the shop when we were buying stuff, I think Polly would have found something that was ridiculously expensive, like a mirror, and been wanting to buy it. I was wondering if you, I don't know anything about your religion, but if there was is it a common enough religion that there might be holy symbols of your religion in a store like that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm trying to remember what the name of my god was. I think it was Atar. I think Atar is like the god that people look to when they've been caught doing something bad and they want to make amends for it.
Right.
So the holy symbol might be something like, I don't know, like a circle of thorny vines or something like that.
Would you have pushed that on Polly instead of some gilded mirror?
Yeah, maybe. I think you seem like someone who might have something to atone for, even if you don't realize it yet.
Everyone does.
And
even
if you don't, right? It's safe to have this. It's safe to have forgiveness of the god when you need it. I think it would be important for you to hold on to something like this.
Okay.
So let's answer our questions. Follower, what is so important that you came back to get it?
So I have a ring that for past several years I've used as kind of a lucky charm, lucky whatever. But originally it was my wedding band, and it's the only thing really that I have for my lost love. They are gone, and I have nothing else. But I think an important part of it was I thought it was, when I bought it, some kind of, again, lucky charm, it's supposed to be protection from spirits or whatever, but it's really just a cheap knockoff. It's just worthless.
So you bought it as a wedding band as well? Like you originally bought it to be okay. What was the name of your lost love? Him or her, I suppose.
Go into the name chart here. Arsalan. Arsal. I'll put it in chat.
Very cool. Is that
Oh, sorry, you just cut out.
Because I typed. Is that a man or a woman?
Man.
Okay, cool. So yeah, super important to you. That makes sense. Okay, good. And you believe it's still in your house, which is nearby from where you're at. You were on your street, so
right.
We'll come back to that in a minute. Ivor, why do you want an audience with Count Strahd?
It came to my attention shortly after I began working with Skara and Hinty that they were both once mortals, potentially fairly young mortals. And I am trying to kind of go through the lineage of people who have made pacts with them to discover who originally sort of made them into spirits, whether that involved harming them or something. But I'm going to see Strahd because he is the next person that I've uncovered as having previously had pacts with Hinty and Skara.
What do you hope to find out from Strahd?
I want to, I'm not, I don't think I know much about Strahd, perhaps, maybe. Or other than he's ruled here a long time, but that's not uncommon for magical people. to live a long time. I want to find out where he met Hinty and Skara, and who made them become demons.
Hmm.
I think it started as a quest of curiosity and has become more of a justice thing.
Great, just making some notes. We pick up the scene immediately after, immediately after Stosh tosses the hand axe, plants it into this kid, sends him flying back. Boom. Stosh, what do you look like?
I'm looking a little pale, kind of wild-eyed. Yeah.
Oh, in general too,
Yeah.
just for
just in general. Yeah. Oh, okay. So kind of like
both are good.
Right. Just kind of a late 20s, kind of slight, but just worn down man. Scar across his face.
Any markings on your vestments that indicate your sun cult allegiance? Can't remember if we established that last time or not.
Yeah, nothing obvious. I would say he's got like a little just on like the lapel of his jacket. He's got like a something embroidered. It's kind of dirty at this point, but it could be a sun. It could be like a flower. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Let's just pick up the scene immediately. You're all just maybe there standing in dumbfounded silence as you realize that Stosh just murdered this seemingly innocent child. Role play.
Polly comes just stumbling out of the shadows, running toward the kid, not knowing why Stosh would have suddenly done that. I don't have my weapons out. I'm going to embrace the child.
Ivor just goes diving towards little Yvonne, just kind of shocked that this has happened and wanting to do something to fix it.
I think I'll be as shocked as they are momentarily, and then I'll notice that the child is still moving, and I'll try and pull Polly away.
Nice. It's kind of like maybe like kind of not quite dead yet or whatever, but like kind of, worming, squirming around a little bit, like writhing a little bit.
Yeah, because we haven't staked it yet or anything. So
yeah, you haven't staked it or cut off its head. So yeah. I love it. I should mention it is a blow that would have killed any other kid of this age. Okay, that should be pretty obvious. You'll hear from the inside of the house. Yvonne, what's going on out there? Is someone out there? What's going on?
Yeah, I think at that Stosh is just gonna volunteer. Like, there are several others in that house. He's pulling out his sword. He's just reaches over, grips up Goro, and just to stay sharp, be sharp.
Faller is going to look over at Stosh. Don't know his name, but you know what? He believed me. He took down this zombie baby. So give him kind of a nod of appreciation and say, after you.
Yeah, Stosh isn't going forward. He is just kind of, believing in a good defense right now. After me, I'm not going in there. Are you going in there?
I mean, you don't send the bowman in first. But what good am I going to be in there first?
I think what my friend is attempting to ask is, what need is there for us to go into this house at all? Who knows? There might be nothing wrong in there. This town has done fine without our help fine in quotes, for many months now. I'm clearly still a little bit shaken.
Ivor, what do you think? You were trying to protect this kid.
It's visibly moving around, yes?
Yes.
It is, and not in a wounded child sort of way.
No, more of like like the arms and legs are kind of like kicking a little bit, like a like a motor reflex sort of thing, right? Like a weird, eerie little twitch.
Is it looking at me in any particular way?
I think probably you said you buried the axe in its head or the chest, Stosh.
Definitely the chest. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we just see like you just see like his eyes are kind of like wide, and his mouth is just like moving up and down, and he's kind of just like.
And this is not supposed to be happening. This is a mortal wound. Yeah, this is. I just sort of stand up and walk down the stairs, and I look at Fowler, and I was like, "Do you think we should just burn it down?" Gesturing to the house.
I would feel a lot better if we didn't leave what is obviously connected to whatever this child thing is at our backs. So yeah, let's burn it down.
There are people still living in this town. I mean, a fire, especially in the shape of this place,
it would spread
right
pretty
now.
Quickly.
Yeah.
This town is full of corruption and rot, and a good fire is what it needs.
Well, not everyone here deserves a good fire.
Indeed, there are good people left here. Perhaps even the same ones that called to us for help to begin with.
For all you know, the mother might not be a vampire, right?
I was about to say the mother, the illness the mother is experiencing may be that her child was feeding on her.
Are you willing to go in and check?
I'll go.
Count on Polly. Polly, what do you look like?
Polly is a dirty, small, dark. You'd say a child, but he's probably, maybe 5 years older than this child that was just slain here. Maybe 8, but malnutrition has made him small and wiry, but fast. He's wearing a new-ish suit of leather armor that doesn't seem to quite fit. Barefoot though, and dark eyes darting to the door, to the windows, looking for a second floor. Fearless.
Indeed. You're going in?
I'm not letting a child go by himself, so I'll go in with Polly.
Well, wait a minute. Let's see what does this thing look like first.
What does what look like?
What does the building look like? Is it 2 stories or 1 story?
I think it's probably like 2 stories. Yeah, it's like a 2-story, kind of a narrow. All the houses here are kind of like crammed together and narrow, kind of like brownstones, sort of like in a way, like like kind of slotted next to each other with little tiny alleys in between them, and just 2 stories and maybe like a little storage half story up above that. The deep gouge marks on the outside of the walls, as normal, and for the buildings in this village. And you don't hear the other noises like Stosh pointed out, but you do hear this woman calling from the inside, wanting to know where her kid is and what's going on.
The windows are boarded up.
They are, yeah.
Go ahead, Fowler.
Even on the second floor?
Yes, even on the second floor.
Okay.
I was just going to say, can we make this a flag scene?
Of course. Yeah, please do. Before we go any further here, I want to give you guys your XP reward too. For this first encounter. You guys can take, you each get 75. The principal way you get XP in this game is treasure. So just FYI. There could be treasure inside the house. Sorry, continue. What were you saying?
So I was just going to say, for Polly asked me to do something daring and acrobatic. I think we're already kind of angling at that anyway. But I think Fowler notices one of the rents in the walls actually kind of breaks through into one of the upper floors. And there's a nice little ladder work of rents to climb up to that one. And I pointed out to Polly and say, you look wiry and thin enough to maybe sneak in there and get a look around. And if you need our help, you can call and we'll come in from underneath and we'll hammer and anvil the evil down.
Yeah, Polly looks up at that and shakes his head and looks over at you and gives you a squint, like, I'm watching you. He looks up and then he deftly goes over and just starts climbing up the wall, almost like he was a spider meant to be attached to the wall.
Yeah. Since it's just one story, or just since it's just 2 stories, we'll just make it a dex roll. Otherwise, it'll be a con roll. Go ahead and roll dex.
Let's see. Let me get this.
Consequences are probably just that you fall. Those are the risk, but also possibly maybe that someone sees you, right? So.
Let's see. Dex is 2, so 9.
9, awesome. You get I think you get like you manage to like kind of spider climb your way up. I think like there maybe like there are handholds or maybe even the gouges, like you can kind of like put your feet in and kind of like gradually get up there to the second story. You're going to get up to the second story and you're going to see there actually is in the sort of like clapboard wall, there actually is like a bit of a gap, maybe about big enough to say put your arm into, right? And it just happens to be right by where there might be like a latch for a window, right? Maybe there's like shutters that so if you want to go ahead and put your arm in that gap into the house and reach around and do the latch, you could do that.
Yeah, before I do that, I want to just pause quickly and listen. Does it seem like I don't hear any sounds in there?
I'm going to roll the die of fate. You got a 6. You hear just occasional echo or occasional whistle of wind.
All right. I look down at my friends below and smile at them as I'm reaching my hand in and opening the latch.
As you do.
And the window swings open and I swing my little body up into the window and disappear into the shadows.
Nice. Back down to the ground floor. What's everyone thinking or doing? I just want to go around the table. I'm just going to poll everybody. We'll start with Goro.
I'm wondering how long we should wait for Polly to come out, and I'm thinking of prodding Stash to come in with me immediately.
Good. Stash, what about you? What are you thinking? What are you anticipating?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel embarrassed about my lack of decisiveness as far as going into this house, especially after seeing Polly, perhaps the smallest amongst us, being so brave. Yeah.
What about
so
you? Ivor?
Now I trust Fowler way more than I have since we started traveling together, and way more than I did 10 minutes ago. when he started pointing an arrow at that kid. So I'm willing to completely back his plan, but I'm really close to the door with my knives out because I want to be ready to go in. Is the door open?
It is, yeah. Because remember, he was reaching up to like,
right,
or whatever. So yeah, it is.
Right. So I'm kind of looking in and checking out the scene on the first floor.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And Fowler, what about you?
So I see Polly swing himself in through the window, and I've taken a couple steps back, but is the kid still like writhing a little bit on the ground?
Sure what you guys did. I think he's just there like in a weird, like, almost like it looks like strangely, like to our eyes, it would look like a sort of like a robot stuck in a loop or something, right? Just like.
So I'm going to walk a little bit closer to the front door to kind of listen and hear if Polly needs any help. And as I pass the child, because again, I think he's a zombie, I'm going to loose my arrow into his head because the only way to kill a zombie is with a headshot.
Nice. I'm not going to say whether that's enough for the vampire. He does stop moving. So, Polly. As is your way, you have enough ambient light coming in from the window to kind of get a lay of the room. And it is like so many spaces that you've seen, that you saw when you were going through people's homes. It's just like it used to be some sort of like bedroom, but it's all smashed up. There's a bureau knocked down and smashed. There are ripped claw marks in like the straw mattress, and straw strewn everywhere, right? And you see a few silver coins spilled out on the floor from underneath the bed. What do you do?
Oh, well, I can't resist.
A little inside joke for the new characters. This literally happened twice in like 2 previous sessions. Like Polly stumbles on silver pieces based off the die of fate rolls, right? So what do you do?
I creep down from the window and silently creep across the floor to the bed. I look under the bed to see if there's anyone hiding under there.
There's not.
And then I pick up a silver piece, hold it in my hand, bite it.
That's good.
Drop it in my pocket. Pick up another one.
And there, it leads to like a little trail, a little sack underneath on the far side, underneath the bed, if you want to crawl underneath there.
Oh, but this isn't mine yet. It might be a nice mother that needs this. So I will just leave it there for now. I mean, I did take a few. And I don't know, is there stairs down or maybe like a hole with a ladder? I don't know how primitive this house is.
You will basically step out of this. It's like a bedroom. It'll step out into like a landing, like with some stairs and maybe some other rooms too. So up top. So, do you do that?
All right. Yeah. I step out there and then I'll like try to stick my head down to see what's going on the lower level.
I'm going to roll the die of fate for stepping out of the room. Lucky you, it's a 6 again. Always lucky.
I told you, Stosh.
You poke your head out and you see a few things like kind of like arranged in a little corner. It's a sort of like U-shaped landing with like stairs that go down to the bottom floor, right? And wedged in the corner near the baseboards, you see a pair of old boots. You see an old bow, like a bow and arrow bow, a short bow, and a quiver with some arrows.
Oh, nice.
What do you do?
And then the arrow and quiver have not been. They're stacked in the corner. That means they weren't being used to defend this place when it was ransacked. That's interesting. All right, I've got to sneak so that I can get. I'd like to try to get a view of the first floor.
Indeed. Speaking of view of the first floor, Ivor, give me a wisdom roll. Since you poked your head in there, I was going to look around. We're going to kind of get a lay of things.
It's a 9.
I'm sorry, a 9?
Yep.
One question.
Yeah. What's between me and the stairs up?
I'm going to roll die of fate for the first floor.
Okay.
Six again. Nothing. Looks clear.
All right. I'm going to start just sort of slipping gently, quietly inside. I'm feeling very uncomfortable with a young man kind of taking the brunt of this whole party, taking all the risk.
You step inside, and there's basically like there's like a little entryway, I guess like a foyer almost, and it's smashed up. There used to be like a side table. It's all smashed up. There's a tapestry that's been like collapsed and ripped to collapsed to the ground and ripped to shreds. Much of you see some stairs going up to a sort of U-shaped like level up above. You might even see Polly up there presently, and a lot of the stairs are kind of like smashed, right? Like the railings are all kind of busted up, and that kind of thing, right? There is, however, a door to your left and a door to your right that go to two rooms on either side of the first floor. They look like there might be like some space behind the stairs too, maybe like a kitchen or something, but these two front rooms seem to be the only rooms in the first floor.
And those two doors right here and right here are closed, right?
They're closed. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you kind of like motion to your friends, like, "Hey, it's cool"? Like,
I'm looking back at them, like, and I'd like to go further in. This is clear, like, the all clear side.
Yeah, indeed.
And then motion to where the closed doors are.
Do you all go in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm following everyone.
Polly, you'll see them down below. And indeed, Polly, directly across from you on the upper floor, there's another door that goes to a room. So essentially, it's like 4 rooms in this building, like 2 on either side on both floors. And then there's probably some space in the back as well.
All right. I see them, and I smile and wave at them. And then I disappear as I go over to get ready to open that other door on the top floor. Quietly.
Indeed. Let's see if the die of fate is going to be kind to you. Continue to be generous and kind. Not as generous, but not too bad. So you're moving over to the door, and the knob turns. It'll open. What do you do?
I slowly open it and peek in.
You open it up.
One hand on the doorknob, another hand on my witch knife.
There must be heavy drapes on the window of this room, because as you open it, there's no light, no ambient light coming in. Just a little bit you can kind of see just at the threshold of the door from where you're at. It's incredibly dark, and maybe 10, 15 paces into the room, you just hear
I say, "Mama, is that you?"
whatever it is, it begins to growl.
Oh, I pull the door closed.
And you hear a thump, 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 and like something slams against the door, like pah. And then it lopes back to where it came from. It didn't try to open the door.
Guys, up here!
So, Stosh, what do you do?
Yeah, even before hearing this thumping upstairs, Tosh was just kind of like white knuckled on both swords. So because he was convinced there was something in here. So yeah, I'm gonna just start up the stairs. I'm going up to Polly.
What about you, Fowler?
So, Faller's staying a little ways back, and you said that there are several doors down here on the first floor, right?
Two that they're right there near the foyer. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to, because I've seen Stosh do his thing, and I kind of trust him to have things in hand. Head over to those. Are they next to each other, or
one on either side? Yeah.
One on either side. Kind of head in that direction and see if I hear anything coming from that direction.
Roll plus wisdom. What about you, Goro?
I think I'm following Stosh up the stairs.
Okay. What was that wisdom check there?
It was a 10.
Nice. What kind of information are you looking for here?
Really, I want to know, well, two things. One, is there anything, well, no, just one important thing. Is there anything dangerous in this area, like where those two doors are?
That's unclear. I will say that you hear the woman's moaning coming from the door on the left as you enter. So that's where that's coming from.
Okay.
And on the door on the right, dead silent.
Okay. If that's the case, I'm going to look back at the others and kind of, if I can catch anyone's eye by making hand motions, kind of loudly, well, not too loudly, but, forcefully whisper, "She's over here."
And I think Evor's the only one down there with you still. Right?
Yeah, I'm still down there by you.
Yeah.
So, Ivor, what do you do?
I reach out for the doorknob, but I keep my eye contact with Fowler to make sure that he's ready to cover me as I go in.
Nice. We'll get to that in a minute. Up top. So, Polly, everybody would have heard the something slamming against the door and then walking away, right? It's like it got angry at you, slammed against the door, and then walked away, right? So, Polly, what do you do? Oh, you're muted.
Excitedly, I say, "It's really dark in there. I didn't see what it is, or who it is."
It didn't sound friendly.
Certainly didn't.
I think you're right. I could light a candle. It doesn't want to come out. That's good.
But if the mother's in there, we're going to have to go in there with it.
Follower, will you mention to them, and you just call up to the stairs, will you mention to them that you heard the mother in that door down below?
I'm really afraid of making too, well, I guess there was that loud bang against the door. Yeah. So at this point the jig's up. Yeah. I'll, she's down here.
Indeed.
If she's down there, then what on earth is in this room?
Maybe she could tell us.
Well, this room seems safe for the moment. Perhaps we should go back downstairs.
I'll keep a watch on it.
I'll stay with my friend here.
Okay, so Goro, you're going downstairs with them.
Yeah.
Ivor, you're just opening the door and going in? Oh, you're muted, Ivor.
If I see Goro coming down, I will sort of like make sure he sees me going in, sort of move my eye contact over to him, and kind of gesture for him to follow me. As sort of Fowler, sort of, I think you're kind of holding back. It looked like.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
mostly covering the door,
you
trying to
guys,
get a good angle.
Yeah.
he's behaving like a character with 3 hit points right now.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Look,
So
I have a
you
mighty
are-
4.
Oh, I should tell you guys just mechanically, just so you know, you don't automatically die at 0. We do like a little black hack style die roll to see if you survive it or not. So as long as some member of your party is still alive, you have a chance of being recovered at 0. So.
Okay.
Not guaranteed, but
Right.
when you step inside Ivor, this room is it's not very big, right? I mean, it's not very big, and it's more long than it is like it's more long toward the back of the house than like wide, in the other direction. But as you step inside, there are a couple of lanterns lit and some candles, so you can see some things. It does seem a little bit more made up. The furniture is not overturned. It looks like it used to be maybe some kind of sitting room or some kind of there might be like some like bookcases with a few old molded books on them, right? And you will see a woman lying on some sort of pallet on the floor, right? Like some kind of space has been made up for her. You'll see her lying there. As you step a few paces in, Goro, do you follow as well?
Yeah, I'll follow him in. I've got my holy symbol in my hand.
I'm going to roll the die of fate right now. Three. As you step in, you see this woman laying there, and she kind of turns to you. She turns her head and says, "Where is my son? Where is Ivan? What's happened to him?"
We heard you were ill. We were told you were ill.
Yes, I'm very ill. I have not eaten in some days. I am so very hungry.
Oh, dear God.
Perhaps it's not that the child was feeding on her, but that she was reluctant to feed on her child.
Do you say that loud enough for her to hear, or are you kind of whispering?
I think I'm whispering to him.
Okay, so to confirm.
Her hearing might be very good. I don't know, but I'm whispering to him.
She says, "Please come a little closer. I don't know who you are, but I'm in desperate need of help. If you have anything at all that you can share with me, I would greatly appreciate it."
What is it you hunger for?
What do you mean? I hunger for food, for sustenance, friend. I have not eaten in some days.
Has your child not been able to bring you food?
And I think at this point, as you guys have stepped a little closer, are you stepping inside, follower, as well? Or are you still staying outside?
Once they've gone in, I'll be in the doorway.
Okay. You're in the doorway, and like I said, the room is more like they have to turn a right to go the length of the room. So like you will have to go in a little bit to to continue following them, right? It's more long that way, along the length of along the depth of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you're staying behind them, keeping cover on them, the door eventually just slams shut to this room. Cut back to Stash and Polly. And you will hear Polly at the keyhole of the door. That sound again. Like whatever it is has crept up close to the door. And in the keyhole you can hear what do you do?
I point to it. and get Stash's attention. I point to the keyhole and I go, "Tsh." I just hiss. It's evil in there. And then I go down to put my mouth to the keyhole and go and hiss at it.
If you go to the keyhole, it looks dark. You're hissing at the keyhole, but then suddenly, like, a big bloodshot eye just appears in the keyhole, staring back at you.
Stand back, you!
And again, just the heavy breathing and grunting. But it's right there by the door, Stash. What do you do?
I think this is a good time for like a well-placed kick. I'm gonna try and kick the door in. Hopefully, if it's someone who I think the odds are pretty slim that it's someone who needs rescuing, but just in case, hopefully, I don't want to kill them.
Yeah, but maybe knock them off balance if it's someone dangerous. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Give me a strength roll.
Okay. Six.
Oh, hold that thought. The door slam. Father, what do you do?
I immediately wheel around and grab the doorknob and start shaking seeing if it's actually latched or if it's just like a breeze blew it closed.
The knob won't turn. I think the knob turns. It's loose, like the mechanism is broke. And then, Falur, you feel fingertips. Set the finger. What do you do?
I immediately whirl right back around and pull my bow and see, like, if there's something right in my face, try and push it back, and if there isn't, try and find out what, see if I can see what's happening.
There's a man you recognize. Meanwhile, back upstairs, Stash, you go to kick the door in, right? Is that the idea?
Mm-hmm.
You like get up and you're going to do like maybe a little, give yourself a little, I'm taking the fiction here for 6. You're going to give yourself a little running start and just give it a slam. The door, like as soon as your leg like is about to make contact with the door, it flies open and there is a big, like muscular, like just a big, like thick with muscle and fat figure with no shirt, standing about a good 6.5 feet tall, perfectly milky white pale, and big like bat ears, right? Like big like tipped bat ears, and like it's so fast. Like just the door flings open, your leg, it like catches your leg, and just drags you into the darkness. Polly, how do you respond?
I'm so scared. Do I still see the thing, or did both of them
just
grabbed him
and pulled them into the darkness?
Oh shit. All right, I am going to slip into the darkness as well, and I've got my one dagger out, and with my left hand, I'm feeling around toward the window to pull the drapes open, get some light on what's going on.
All right,
I'm trying to move quietly.
We're just going to see you going into the darkness. We'll cut there. Follower. Someone you recognize. Someone you recognize staring back at you. It's Arsalan. And he says, "Oh, I never thought I would see you again. Oh, joyous day. I never thought that we would be reunited." And he's going to embrace you. What do you do?
I lower my bow, just pure shock, and I'm staring him in the face and just, Sal, what are you doing? How did you get here?
Let's take our break now. We'll take like a 2-minute break, just real quick, little quick bio break and come back.
Stosh, we're in deep trouble.
It's getting intense. Right, so I think we're waiting on Anakat. He's back. Right, cool. Follower. Sal. Arslan. You embrace. And he nuzzles his nose on your neck in a way that feels very familiar. And he says, Vala, my love, how I've missed you. I never thought I would see you again. I thought that I was lost. I thought that as I walked down that long, dark tunnel, I thought that if I looked back upon you, I would bring upon you a terrible darkness, a terrible curse that would not only divide us physically, but spiritually as well. But now I know that I was wrong, and now that I know you're here, and I couldn't be more happy about that. I'm so utterly delighted to be reunited with you. And his words are just like rattling madly in your head, right? Roll plus intelligence.
I don't think this one re-rolled. It's not re-rolling for some reason, so give me a second.
Just roll 2 more, it's fine.
So that's a 10.
What the words he's saying, he's trying to get to you. It's trying to invade your mind, trying to take you over. You resist it. Not only do you resist it, you know that this creature is false. This is not Arsalan at all. How do you respond?
At first, I'm very much, caught up in the moment of seeing my love again after what seems like forever apart. And the closeness and the headiness and his scent, and I'm caught up in the moment. But there's something underneath the scent, and the grave, maybe just something, a coldness and just a weird smell underneath it, and it reminds me of I saw Sal die. I know he's dead, and with that, I look up at him and push him away from, break the embrace.
And as you push him away, you don't push Sal away at all. And Goro and Ivor, you'll see this as well. Fowler pushes off of him a tall, gangly creature. It's tall, over maybe 7 feet tall, even. Seemingly naked, rubbery, pale white skin, bald head, bat-like ears, very much like the Nosferatu style of vampire, right? Just you push it back, and it's just like, its claws are and fangs are bared. Ivor, rising up from that pallet, is another one of these creatures. There's one in the front of the two of you, and there's one over there with follower. Ivor, what do you do? You're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry. I give Goro a look, and then I just sort of lunge forward into the creature with both daggers out.
Nice. What about you, Goro? What will you be doing?
I don't want the other one coming up behind us, so I'll thrust my holy symbol at it and call upon
Fowlers or Ivor?
Ivor's.
Okay, yeah.
Call upon the name of Atar to repel this foul creature.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's do that first. I think that sounds good. Go ahead and I think you're just going to roll plus wisdom, right?
Sounds good. That's 7.
7. I think you're not going to be able to hold it off for very long. You are going to be able to hold it off long enough to buy you a minute here, Ivor. The creature backs off, right? And clearly can't break a certain threshold of space. You've got a moment here. If you want to rush forward and stab him, you can do that. I'll give you a free stab.
I'm definitely stabbing.
I'll give you just a free stab. Roll your damage.
Okay. I believe I roll that advantage for damage because it's 2 daggers. If that's the World of Dungeons rule.
Yeah. I don't. Do you not have to have like? I think you don't have to have double-handed skill or something like that.
I don't think so. I didn't see it. I just saw it under the weapon rule.
Okay.
That's what I understood too.
Cool. I'm just pulling it up right now. Yeah, I don't offhand. I can't remember how it works, but
Okay.
let's see here. So what are you saying happens here?
So I'm just going to roll twice for damage and take the best.
Oh, you take the back. Okay, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it. Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, 6 damage as a dagger
What's
comes
it look
up.
like?
I guess
Yeah,
a
yeah,
dagger
what's it look
comes
like?
up sort of right into where I expect the lung to be.
Mhm.
Um,
Nice.
And I think I've done some dissections before, so I know where the lungs are.
Nice.
I know where the lungs are supposed to be. And I think it's I kind of feint with one weapon, so it sort of like rolls away, but that kind of forces it to lean into the other one, so it goes right through the chest.
Nice.
Um,
It's still alive. It's not incapacitated yet, but
Right,
you're clashing with it. That's good.
Right.
Before I leave, real quickly, Fowler, what do you do?
When I push off this creature, is there? I'm hoping for enough space to bring my bow to bear
Go for
and
it.
just fire pretty much point blank right in the
Go
chest.
for it. Roll dex. Or what does volley do? Does that do something special?
Yeah, it gives me +2 on damage.
Okay, go for it. Roll dex.
So that's a 10.
Nice. Roll your damage.
And that's 7 with the +2.
Nice. It's still up, but where do you shoot it?
I mean, I know a little bit about death and undead creatures and everything, so I'm aiming for the chest cavity heart area.
Nice. Stosh. Yours is basically a Nosferatu style vampire, but with some meat on its bones. And it just pulled you in quickly, right? And this thing is incredibly strong. It's handling you like a rag doll. It just pulled you in, and it put its hand over your face in such a way that it holds your jaw shut from beneath, so you can't make a sound, and it lifts you up like that, right? So you're just not able to say or do anything. So you're just, and it's dark in the room, and so Polly can't see or hear where you're at in the room, and he's just holding you up, and he's just using his like great strength to try to like crush your lower jaw into your upper jaw. What do you do?
I think for my kicking in the door stunt, I just had my short sword in hand, the long sword I put away. So, I still have that in my hand. I'm kind of struggling with my empty hand against his hand on my jaw, and then as like an afterthought, I realized I still have this sword, and I'm just gonna bring it up and just slice across the arm as hard as I can.
I think it's a strength thing because you got an easy shot. Give me just a strength roll.
All right, that's a 9.
9. You're going to trade blows. He's going to do damage on you. You're going to do damage on him. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. 5 points of damage.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get to that in a moment. I've taken note of it. And you are going to take best of 2d10 plus 2.
Ooh. All right.
So you're going to roll d10 twice and take the higher of the two.
Okay. All right, so it looks like 7.
And it's just, in this case, it's not like physical damage he's doing to you. It's just like he's just squeezing your head so tight that it's just like, it could just like basically just knock you unconscious, right? Like you just feel his strength, like just piercing, like his head's like a vice, right? You're just there and you cut him and you do hit him and you hurt him, but like, it's just like it's a purely silent moment still. He makes no reaction when you cut him, right? Polly, you're in the dark. What do you do?
Yeah, I don't have a sense. I think where
Maybe
the thing is, right?
possibly.
Huh?
How do you? I mean, possibly. I might make you roll for it if you're trying to like hone in on where it's at.
Well, I said I was going for the light. I need to get some light on this so we can both see,
You're
and
going to try to flip the curtains back, right?
hopefully the thing is in a dark room for a reason. So I'm going for the curtains.
I'll let you do that for free, but I'm going to make Stosh tangle with him one more time. So, but you can do that. You go, you pull the curtain down. Some of this sort of like sickly gray daylight of Barovia pours in, and you see him there standing in a certain corner of the room. This scene, him just holding Stosh up like nothing, right? Muscly, fat, just everything's hanging down, genitals hanging down, just grotesque. Stosh, I'm gonna make you tangle with him one more time. What do? You're still being held in this vice grip.
Yeah, I'm panicking at this point. I drop the sword and I'm gripping his arm with one arm or both arms, we'll say, just trying to pull my head free. And I bring up my legs and I push off of his chest.
Nice. To escape, give me a strength roll.
Yeah, that's a 10.
Nice. It goes as described. You're free, and you can kind of scramble up to your feet as the thing gets its bearings. Cutting back to the other room. Ivor, you can tell that the creature is like the woman vampire. She is the power that like was holding her back. Goro's holy power is no longer functioning. She's taking tentative steps forward and realizing that it no longer has any effect on her. Goro, you realize this. What do you do?
I'm like looking back and forth between the two vampires, and I can't decide which of my companions is in more danger.
You don't know either of them very well, right?
Yeah.
It's a total toss-up for you.
I think I let the holy symbol fall to my chest and pull out my mace, and I think I'll attack the one that Ivor is attacking.
Go for it. Just give me a strength roll.
Uh, 8.
Nice. We'll just trade damage again.
All right.
Roll your damage on her.
1 damage.
1 damage. All right. And she does a D8. So, and basically just as you go up to hit her, she's just going to like take her like claws and just like slash at your chest, right? She does D8.
That's 6, and I assume my armor applies.
Your armor does apply. Yep.
Okay.
And Ivor, what do you do?
So I want to give Goro an opportunity just to sort of like just to do a skull crush.
Okay.
I feel like these things are going to keep coming at us if we just keep wounding them, much like that small immovable thing downstairs or outside. And I like Fowler's solution. So I think what I want to do is kind of bring her in for almost like a hug, and then just sort of body flop her down so that Ivor can just kind of crush her.
So you want to pin her down?
I want to pin her down so that she can't get away while Ivor just sort of brings his mace down on her skull.
Roll strength.
Or on its skull.
Yeah, roll strength.
That is a 13.
Nice. I'll give you the bonus of you can totally narrate just killing the creature. Go for it.
I'm planning,
including what Goro will do. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm planning to sort of tackle her when I notice. I think the position of Goro's mace as he sort of followed through. And so instead, I tackle her and slam her so that her skull and the mace and the wall sort of make a sandwich, and that the backside of her head just sort of like collapses.
Nice.
With a crunch against the whole thing.
Follower, your vampire very quickly closes the distance between you and him, and he's now right up in your face. What do you do?
I mean, I don't have any melee weapons or anything like that, so I am
Well, you better run.
dodging, dodge, duck, dive, dodge, and
try to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Roll plus dexterity. Someone give this guy a dagger.
Ooh, that's a 6.
Okay, hold that thought. While they're busy crushing and smashing and taking care of that one, he just like he wasn't that far away to begin with. It's not a very big room, and he just like he quickly lopes forward. You're trying to dodge out of the way. You do not. I think you try to like duck, and he grabs you and pulls you in close, just like pulls you in really close, and sinks his teeth right into your neck. You take a D8. No armor for this.
Ooh. I'm probably going to go down then. That's a 3. So yeah, I'm at 0.
You're at 0. Hold that thought. Back upstairs. All right. So the creature is there, just like looking at you both, right? And you're both there, like, Stosh, you managed to get up, and Polly, you're there. Polly, what do you do?
Is the creature still grabbing Stosh?
Well, Stosh like got away, and so like he pushed away. So it's just like you two are like basically flanking it right now.
Do we have a path to the door?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I say run! And I scramble toward the door.
Nice. Give me a dexterity roll to get away.
Oh, that'd be a 5.
You may not get away. Stosh, what do you do when he says run?
Yeah, I'm feeling very amenable to that course of action. So yeah, Stosh is just, he's left the short sword on the ground. He has his other sword out, and he is making for the door.
Polly, you were trying to run. I think you were a little further. You were a little further past because you were trying to get to the window, right? And so you have a little further to go. Stosh, you're ahead. You were closer to the door. You just see Polly's body fly past you and slam against the wall. Polly, you take a best of 2d10 plus 2.
Oops.
Polly has 3 hit points
Let's
also.
see. Where is the roll selected thing? I see reroll selected. Oh, submit. There we go. All right. The best would be a total of 10.
Indeed. You're also at 0. So yeah, Stosh, it's just like that. You just see Polly like fly past you and crunch up against the wall, right? As the creature grabbed him and threw him. Back downstairs. You all, having just killed the female vampire, see Follower like just kicking and twitching as this other vampire is like digging its like teeth into his neck. It's exposed because it's busy. Goro, what do you do?
I think I want to get it off of Fowler as quickly as possible because he's still clearly alive. So I pick up my shield and I try to run it into the wall between the shield and the wall.
Nice. Sounds good. I'll take that as hack and slash too, since you could theoretically hurt him as well. Roll plus strength.
5.
Your total is 5.
My total is 5.
Ah, indeed. You are rushing up. I think like as soon as you rush up, he just drops Fowler's body and turns around, blood dribbling out of his mouth and slick all over his chest. And you're rushing up, and he just like thrusts his hand forward, and like you basically just like freeze, like you just like freeze in place, move, and then it skulks around, just right around you, frozen in place. To you, Ivor, it's like just like skulking around, and kind of turns its head. And what do you do, Ivor? Oh, you're muted.
Is there a window in this room?
No, actually.
Okay. All right. So it's off Fowler, and it's done something to.
It dropped Fowler. It froze Goro. And
Goro.
now it's just walking around Goro to you.
I'm not good at getting out of the way. I'm better at powering through things.
Do you have Quicksilver? Can you summon one of your spirits?
Yeah, I do have Quicksilver. Oh man, and I don't know what else to do. So
seems like a good time to use it.
I hate resorting to drugs in the middle of a fight. But yeah, I think I'm gonna bite the cap, the wax cap off a bottle of Quicksilver and down it,
Yeah.
and then call Skara.
Which one is that?
Lightning and Secrets.
Nice. What kind of effect are you looking for here?
I am looking for a Skara to unleash her storm onto the secret storm that comes out of the darkness at night, right onto this thing.
Nice. Roll intelligence.
All right. That's a 12.
You get a bonus as well. I'll let you destroy it. Go for it.
So I think on Quicksilver for me, time slows down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not really sure exactly how long it passes, how much time passes. And I think when I come to, the thing is just a heap on the ground, blackened and sort of sparking with lightning. And I'm just sort of on the ground, and I've kind of undone the leather kind of quasi breastplate thing. And I'm sort of excessively warm and panting and overheated. And I'm not sure how long it's been. It may have just been a second, but it felt for me like I went through an entire night of storms. And I'm panting and sweaty, and it's gone just into a blackened heap of still sparking. And there's kind of a dense ozone smell.
Stosh, because you guys are both near the door, you can grab Polly's body and drag him out into the hallway. The creature will lope right up to the frame of the door. It will never break the threshold of the door. And the door just swings closed.
Yeah, I've got Polly's limp body, and I am just kind of panting. Yeah.
So, Follower and Polly, we have to see if your characters survive this. If your companions will be able to revive you, bring you back to life, or otherwise save your life in some way. And we have a range here, a range of possible outcomes. The worst one for you is a 1 on a d6. If you roll a 1, your character has to be dead by the end of the session. Anything higher than a 1, and your character will survive. 2, 3, and 4, the penalties for surviving are going to be pretty bad, but you'll be alive. 5 and 6, you might be clear, free and clear. 5 might be a minor penalty. So those are the things. I'm going to go to the roll for your party, and I'm just going to say let's just clear all the various dice for you, just to have a nice clean slate here when you guys get ready to roll your Black Gate of Death, which we're not doing the Dungeon World style Black Gate. We're not doing that feely bullshit. This is OSR. So you're going to be alive or dead, and that is it. Father, would you like to go first?
Okay. Ooh, 1.
You are not coming back. Polly, would you like to go? You are coming back. Barely. You are coming back, but you're going to have to reduce 2 of your stats by 1, 2 of your modifiers, because of your injuries. Whatever makes sense. But you can probably make a case for all of them. Follower, it's up to you. You can pass away at the end of the session, or you can be dead right now and make a new character. Your choice.
I mean, I think this is a pretty dramatic moment, or a pretty fitting moment. Maybe not dramatic. Yeah.
Would you like to do the Black Gate of Death? What does it look like as you pass through the Black Gate?
Sure. So I think, there's an intense pain in my neck. My vision goes blurry and fades to black. And then I see the entire area fades to black, like around the figure. And then the figure biting me, like the pain goes away and it turns back into Sal. And I'm still horrified and terrified, but this feels right. Whereas last time it felt wrong. There was some wrongness underlying it. And as, I relax and into the embrace, just everything goes to black.
Nice. I'd like to suggest that your new character is basically someone who followed Follower into Barovia, trying to follow him for whatever reason, to help him or to save him or something like that, right? And you will meet up with this group at some point to discover the Fowler's dead. So, and all your unspent XP from the session and from this encounter, we'll just transfer it over to that new character. So, but otherwise, be making your character while we wrap this up. So
sounds good.
So we'll be continuing this scene, and I'll tell you how much XP you have at the end too. So. All right. So Fowler didn't make it. You guys barely knew him. It's sad, but he did act very bravely. Taking up the rear, not plunging into the darkness, and paid terribly for it. How do you guys save Polly? Like, what does that look like? Like, Polly got beat up pretty bad. Polly, which of your stats did you lower?
I lowered intelligence.
Okay.
I had a head wound, and strength. I'm just, broken a little bit.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. You guys also. Oh, do you? Will you guys get that silver and the bow and arrow and the boots?
As soon as I'm conscious, I'll be like, "Did you get it? You saw it, right? Do I have to go back?"
How do you save his life, Stash and Goro?
I think I would have just staggered down the stairs carrying him and just wordlessly taken him over to Goro. Just laid him down gently at your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that they teach you to do in the church as a cleric is to heal with a touch.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically, it just looks like me praying for his soul and feeling all of the various pieces of the wound with my fingers and trying to sort of like pull his body back together as I pull his soul back in.
Nice. I love it. Let's talk about that bag of silver real quick. I'm going to roll a d4. There's 400 silver in it. Hey, wow. A bad score. Divided by 4. So there you go. So that's 100 each for the living characters. And let me make a little.
Stosh, did you pick up the bow? Did you see the bow at the top of the stairs?
I picked you up. Yeah, we can go back for it.
The bow is it's a short bow. There's some boots. The arrows are curious. The arrows are actually. Let me see how many there are. First of all, that's important. There are not very many. There are 4 arrows in there, and the arrows are. They're actually like. They actually are carved to look like a bramble. So like all along the shaft and near the tip, it's just like little spiky thorns like going down the length of it, right? Very unusual. They don't look very aerodynamic actually, but very, very unusual arrows. Could be a great identifying object opportunity for someone.
First, we have to get to safety.
Yeah, where do you guys head?
Before we head to safety, I want to know what I might know about the chance that Farrell is coming back. I mean, I'm pretty shaken up. I mean, I've traveled with him longer than other people have, and I'm assuming maybe he's the one who got me to Barovia. And also, I want to make sure that he is not brought back as one of these things because he was killed by them.
Well, so I'm actually glad you bring that up. I mean, we should memorialize or funeralize Farrell or Farrell a little bit, right? I mean, what would you do to like note his passing? How long did you even know him?
Maybe a few days, maybe a week, something like that. Long enough to go from wherever we were when I encountered him to get to Barovia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm a person of learning. So I'm not one for big formal things. I'm very reserved, but I'm pretty shaken.
Yeah.
That this person I just assumed would be there to get me to Barovia has gotten to Barovia and then immediately gotten killed. And because I doubted him at this very moment too. So I think I'm more just sort of sitting with the body, wondering what I should do pragmatically, but also just not sure how to digest the fact that he's gone, that I watched someone die, and that I had doubted him when he was telling us there was danger. So I'm a little shaken. So I think so I think I'm sort of kind of sitting in silence.
But you're curious about whether you think Farrell's going to rise as a vampire. Is that the idea?
Well, I mean, that's I mean, like beyond just that, you don't want somebody to be desecrated by coming back as one of the undead. That means that their soul is not at rest and they can't move on to the next life. So you don't want anyone you knew to be desecrated. I mean, we're leaving Barovia theoretically sometime, and I'm becoming less and less, in love with the people here, since they all seem to be giant naked vampires.
The few you've met.
But I don't want the person I knew to come back as one of these, because that would mean his death was for nothing.
So there's a chance. I mean, do you want to roll intelligence, see what you might know about this?
Right.
Go for it.
That is an 8.
It's definitely possible, but you don't know for sure whether this will happen. But you have heard of like people, the victims of vampire bites returning, especially if they weren't drained completely of all their blood.
So
it's just a call you have to make.
Yeah, I think I think I'm gonna take one of his own arrows and sort of force it through his chest.
Okay.
But then to sort of pin him to the earth, and then also honor his death by placing the silver pennies or the silver coins over his eyes and under his tongue. So that he has money to move into the afterlife.
Nice. Anything else you guys want to do in this house before you I presumably head back over to the burgomaster's mansion?
Burn it down, maybe.
I would come over to Ivor and just squat next to the body and sort of comfort Ivor.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any like chalk or anything like that?
No, but is there a fireplace anywhere?
A fireplace.
You could do or an oven. You could do
Yeah, sure.
From a fireplace or oven.
Yeah. We'll say there was a fireplace like in the room where the downstairs room that you guys went into. There's also that other room. There is another room down below as well. Just FYI.
Right. Yeah.
That was silent. Just saying.
While no one's looking, I'm going to creep back up to the top of the stairs.
Okay.
And grab his boots.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm gonna grab some charcoal and scroll like "danger inside" on the outside of the door.
Nice, yeah.
And then, because not everyone in the town can read, I'm going to draw like a skull on it or something.
Okay, nice, good.
Did these things seem like their claws are the kind of claws that have been tearing the town up? Do they have claws?
Definitely could be. Yeah, definitely could be. They had like big, thick razor claws. Yeah, it's a possibility.
Did they have anything on their bodies? Oh, well, there's one that's charred and one that's...
Yeah, they were naked when they attacked. Okay. They had no clothing on. So. I'm going to give you guys your XP award for this area. I'm just going to do a quick calculation.
I think another question in like true OSR fashion, what did Fallor have that might be useful to the living?
Indeed. You're gonna give him his 60 coins worth of material to go to the afterlife.
I mean, maybe he doesn't need that short bow. Yeah.
Indeed, maybe not.
He had a short bow and then some sundry equipment like a 20-foot rope, flint and steel, tent, bandages, water skin. Trying to remember what else. He had a hatchet and an animal trap.
I might grab those bandages.
Go for it. If anything sounded good on there, just grab it and put it in there. Sorry. You each are going to get for your XP. This is for you can note this as well, Derek, for on your sheet. 427
Whoa.
So you have 427 plus your unspent 75 from before, Derek, for your new character. All right. Well, do you guys just toddle back over to the back over to the burgomaster's mansion? There's also Mad Mary, who might be your mother, Goro. You can hear her wailing.
I would mention at this point that there was a young lady watching us when we were outside from the burgomaster's house.
Yeah.
I would honestly like to rest before we get ourselves in any more danger.
Fair enough.
But I do want to visit Mad Mary.
When we saw the burgomaster's house, there were claws all over the windows, but it looked like they hadn't gotten in. It might be the safest place.
I mean, that woman is in there, clearly unharmed. I mean, unclear what's going on with the burgomaster, but yeah. And is your new character ready?
Just about. I was just grabbing a name, and then I think I'm good to go.
Cool, awesome. I shall be happy to. I shall be excited to meet this brand new character. Right.
So yeah, all of those are things that we want to do, but
yeah. All right. Well, so just tell me your first two. I just want to figure out where we head from here. So we'll just go around the table and find out what you're each doing. Stosh, where do you go?
I mean, I want to see if this young lady who's watching us is still there, and it kind of makes sense to approach her.
Okay. Sounds good. Who's going with Stosh?
I would go with Stosh.
Okay.
Stosh
Given
saved
what
my
we've
life, after all.
Given what we've experienced in this town so far, I'm a little afraid to go visit my mother alone. So I'm going to go with them for now.
I'll go with them.
Okay.
Since they're the only people left that I know.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. So well, let's go back to the module now. Back to the module. This is an exercise in module following, allegedly. Let's read. I'm going to reread the little description of the burgomaster's sort of courtyard area. A weary-looking mansion squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside while the left swings crazily in the wind. The stuttering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet against the walls the growth has been trodden under to form a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls. Great black blottings tell of the fires that have assailed the walls. Not a pane nor shard of glass stands in any window. All the windows are barred with heavy planking, each plank marked with stains of evil omen. There are a pair of large, heavy doors. As you kind of go through the courtyard and looking at all this. And they open. As you approach, it's a woman. She has black hair. She's dressed in sort of like a sort of dressing gown type situation. Beautiful. And she says, I heard, my brother came by just moments ago and told me that he sent you here. Please come in. And she invites you in. I assume you all go in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The interior of the house is well furnished, although the fixtures show sign of considerable wear. Obvious oddities are the boarded up windows and the overuse of holy symbols in every room. The burgomaster is in a side drawing room, dead. He is lying in a room that is dark, despite the candles burning in his honor. The stench in the house is terrible. Derek, tell us about your character, please.
So, this is Kurash. He is, or I am, a bounty hunter who's been on the trail of Falor. Falor kind of went off the deep end, as I'm sure some of you are aware, over the past few years, and has made some powerful enemies, or maybe not powerful, but enemies who would like to see him brought in. He's a lean, wolfish guy who specializes in athletics, and if it's okay, I added the skill tracking.
Sounds good.
His special abilities are he's tough and hardy.
You got more hit points than.
Well, I rolled 2, which was even worse.
But at least you end up with 8 though, because of yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
indeed. You will see this group of people going into this house. You've been in Barovia for a bit. No one will talk to you, but here are some people. What do you do?
I approach them and excuse me. Do you have a moment?
This can be like maybe as you guys are stepping inside. Maybe the last person to go inside is Goro. Goro, what do you say?
Sure.
Of course, my friend, although if you're in need of aid, I'm afraid our resources are a bit stretched at the moment.
The only aid I need is a little bit of information. I've been tracking this fellow for the past few weeks, and I managed to follow him here to this city, or village really, and I mean he's, how do I describe him? Underfed and scrawny and dirty and a little bit crazed. You recognize this description of Faller, I'm sure. Goes by the name Faller.
I think perhaps I do know of this man you seek, although if you wish to speak with him, I'm afraid you're out of luck. His body lies in that house across the way.
Oh, he's already passed on then? I'm gonna need some kind of proof for my employers. Do you mind showing me the house so I can collect his left hand?
I will show you the house, although I can't recommend that you go inside.
Why do you say that? I assume this is just his hovel that he was living in and died raving into the wind.
Let me tell you a little bit about Fowler. Yes, he was a little bit crazed, and I did not know him long.
Not long,
but
like 20 minutes, maybe.
But we heard there was a sick woman in this house, and he did not back down from accompanying us inside to rescue her.
Well, if you've already rescued this woman, just come with me and let me.
It was not a woman.
Take his body. Oh,
it was a creature. Many creatures, in fact, and we were unable to protect him.
I see. And have the creatures been dispatched?
A few of them. Who knows how many more lurk inside?
In that case, maybe I'll forego the harvesting of the proof at this point. I've noticed that there's a lot of danger in this area, and well, you seem to be able to handle yourselves, as you say, killing several creatures. I hope it isn't much imposition for me to ask if I could join you. You must have some safe haven or something that I could join you in. I can hold my own, and he gestures to his 2 short swords and his armor.
Assuming that this conversation's happening like at the doorway or something, I think Irina Kolyana, that's the woman, she will come and she will say, please, hurry inside. I don't want to, it's nearly dark. And she waves you guys in.
Well, it seems we have no choice but to keep each other's company for the moment, although given your profession, I would perhaps ask about your motivations before having you join us in our travels.
But in the meantime,
right now, my only motivation is safety.
Irina closes the door. She drops the big heavy, like there's a big heavy drop bar across these 2 double doors, and she says, I hope you'll forgive the state of my home. I mean, it's like it's like stuff is smashed up. It smells like hell. There's a body right over there, surrounded by candles. We got a few minutes. Whoever wants to. I mean, she'll kind of ask you, like, you know, why are you here? Do you share with her this sort of like false letter or whatever?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Share with her both letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll say, yes, Ismark said that this he mentioned briefly. And she kind of like sets the letters down and she says, I this is assuming she's made some, you know, you guys have introduced yourselves. She'll say, I did everything I could to keep my father alive, but in the end, he couldn't stand it anymore. For some nights, we have been, well, let me back up. "15 days ago, the attacks began. Nightly. Terrible creatures, growling, hissing, snapping, clawing at the doors, smashing the windows, never able to enter, but just lurking. We were under siege, and this went on for several nights. And my father, he couldn't deal with it. He had a weak heart. He lived in, every night was a terror. He didn't know why they wouldn't just come in and attack. At the end, he wanted them just to breach the walls and kill us, but they couldn't. They could never enter. It was too much for him, and I couldn't help him. And now here I am. He died 10 days ago. The attacks stopped after he was dead. And I have been here ever since, just trying to figure out what to do.
Holly says, are you the new Burgermeister then?
It is not a hereditary title. And certainly my younger brother would have been, my adopted brother would have been standing for it if there was anything to be Burgomaster of.
So with all the other houses in town, why were they going after the Burgomeisters? Is there no one else less fortified to haunt or hunt?
She gets a little like, I mean, it's certainly curious why they were not able to get inside and grab her, right? Mm-hmm. She gets a little nervous. There's clearly something she wants to, she doesn't want to say. There's something she's keeping back from you, Ivor. Do you do anything to press the issue?
I'd like to yeah, I think I'm going to say, ma'am, I'm sorry for your loss, but if we can help you in any way, we just need to know what it is these creatures were after in coming after you.
Do you do any sort of like physical gesture to comfort her or to like, let her know you're a friend?
I'm probably the most awkward in the entire party, with my charisma of 0. So I think I just sort of reach out a hand, but only sort of halfway, so it's not sort of intrusive and insistent, but just sort of like, just like, I'm here if you need me, sort of.
Yeah, roll charisma. The stakes aren't super high here. It's not going to be terrible if you fail, but just roll charisma.
That is a 5.
She'll tell you. She'll say, and she'll look at all of you and she'll say, I have twice been visited by him. Twice since my father died. He comes in the night. And then she kind of like turns her neck so that it like kind of falls in the lantern light, right? You can see across the smooth expanse of her neck puncture wounds on her neck. He comes and he feeds. I don't know what will happen if he comes a third time. I feel as if I'm losing myself. I feel as if these visitations are, it's like he's trying to get my permission, like he wants me to succumb to it, like he thinks that eventually he's going to convince me of something that I'm going to give over to whatever it is he wants. And I fear that if he visits me another time, I will give over to it. I will not be able to resist him.
Who is he?
Count Strahd, who has ruled these lands for hundreds of years. And I would have you all march to his castle and slay him.
What are you willing to pay for someone to go slay Strahd?
She says, well, I have access to coin. I do. And I'd be happy to I would empty our family's treasury for this. I've got no need for money if I'm the bride of the devil.
Burgomaster's treasury. I could do that I could take Strahd for that. Yeah.
I'm very, very sorry, but I thought Count Strahd was a man of certain eldritch talents.
She looks at you and says, I don't know what you mean by that, but I know that he's a terrible beast. I know that he is a creature of the devil, if not the devil himself. And the sooner these lands are rid of him, the safer we'll all be, the safer I'll be, the safer these lands will be. There's only one way. She says, we must go up the mountain and we must destroy him.
When she first said that she would have us march up and kill him, a chill went down Polly's spine. And he looks up and tries to catch her eye. I'm wondering if there's something, if she's really speaking her heart, or if Strahd or someone else is speaking, making her say that, driving us to him.
It's an interesting question. As you are pondering this, you see just beyond her, into the room where her father lies in state on the ground amidst some candles, you see her father sit up. And that's where we'll end the session.
Nice.
Final XP reward, everybody gets another 50. All right. And then if you hit a flag at any point with any character, if you hit a flag, you get another 10% of whatever you need. So, yeah, how did that go for you guys flag-wise?
Well, Fowler hit. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember Fowler hitting the one. Yeah, I remember that. You pointed at a couple of them. I feel like Ivor did too, right?
I think I was trying to hit one of Fowler's at one point about asking about Barovia.
Right. Yeah, I recall that. So you'll take 100 for that because you haven't leveled yet. So.
Okay.
Any other flags hit?
I don't think so. For me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I hit one this session.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our session. I had a really good time. I don't have time to do debrief on Discord this week, but we can do it next time. Now that we're all together, I think it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I thought that was a very, very scary session. I was really into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it certainly was.
Yeah, definitely.
Very tense.
Yeah, it was going. Yeah, it was turning into that, right? I didn't know where it was going either because I was like, oh man, are they going to go in the house or not? I don't know. Good.
I feel like as a GM, if somebody in a party runs away, you've achieved a scary tone in the game.
Yeah, it was pretty. I was happy with how it kind of like unfurled. You know, it was very like, it had like just good classic horror beats to it. So I was pretty happy with that. And I'm bummed that we lost Fowler because I thought he was a really interesting character, but you'll have to come up with something equally tantalizing for Courage once you've had some time to think.
I have a week for that, so
it's true. That is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, though. At least he got like a little temporary reunion with his lover, right?
Yeah.
There was that moment.
And then a much more permanent reunion with his lover.
You were just a red shirt after all. What a bummer. Anyway, it was super fun. I'll see you guys next week, okay?
take care.